great and wonderful things even through our virtual experience. I love you so much, and I am grateful for each of you and what you continue to do to support ministry and continue. So take a few moments, if you will, like it and share it, thumbs up, watch party, communicate with somebody else and say, hey, we're on for Bible class, and join us for these next 25 to 30 minutes as we share the Word of God with you. Listen, I want to continue in our study from the book of Exodus. Again, the book of Exodus. I want to continue in this study. Don't forget, at the 7:40 hour, Sister Sullivan has the physical aspect of this. You can rush over to her Facebook page. And so grace and peace again to all of you. Again, I want to get right back into this time of study in Exodus chapter 11. And I want to live tonight 3 verses from this Old Testament record as again we continue to look at this particular teaching. You're going to live through it. You're going to live through it. And I want to encourage your hearts and encourage your spirits through the Word of God because it is important, people of God, that you understand God and His wisdom, His infinite wisdom. He never makes any mistakes. He knew that we would be at this appointed place at this appointed time. And also the good news, He knew that we will be victorious through it. And so in Exodus chapter 11, again, as we embark upon this study, verses 8, 9, and 10 tonight, verses 8, 9, and 10 of Exodus chapter 11. Remember, as we started this study, I wanted you to focus in on 2 words, and those 2 words were remain and receive. As a matter of fact, go ahead and type those on the screen. Remain and receive, because those are important as we engage in this time of study. And so you understand that when God created the plan to bring Israel out of Egypt from under the awful dictatorship and leadership of Pharaoh, again, a type of leadership, God does so with a creative plan. As a matter of fact, He sends plagues throughout the land for the purpose of setting His people up for freedom. And so the good news is that God is setting them up to be free. And so even though they were struggling, even though these things were happening, God is setting them up to be freed from this hardship and leadership of Pharaoh. And so again, people of God, as we embark upon this tonight, the leader during this time is a guy by the name of Moses. We shared that with you. And Moses has done his due diligence. He's communicated with Pharaoh and said to him, God is delivering His people. God is going to bring His people out of this alive and doing well. He communicates with Pharaoh and says, listen, it is time for the people to make their exodus. It is time for the people to make their exodus. It is time for you to take your hands off of their freedom. God has already demanded, and put these things in place so that the people can go free. As a matter of fact, they were doing such a marvelous job in that level of consistency. Moses was doing such a phenomenal job that it was people who were in that land who were honoring them as a result of their leadership during this time. As a matter of fact, in verse number 8, I'll lift it for you tonight. And all of these that thy servants shall come down unto me, is what Moses is declaring, and bow down themselves unto me, saying, go, get thee out, and all the people that follow thee, and after that I will go out. And he went from Pharaoh in a great anger. If you look at verse number 8, because of the success and what God was doing in the midst of this plague, and things were happening, and the people who were there to serve Pharaoh, they become frustrated with the plagues that are happening in the community, and they said, listen, it is time for them to go, because God is determined that they're going to live through all of this. And I want to suggest to you, pause for a moment and share with you, stop getting caught up in people who are around you, trying to hold you hostage, don't want you to go free, because once God has already declared a thing, that very thing is going to come to pass. And so what you have to understand, when God positions you in a place, He always does so that you can is to trust what they've heard. They got to trust what they've heard. I think one of our biggest struggles, especially in Christianity, is that we struggle to embrace what we hear. And therefore, we don't remain confident. We don't remain confident, or we don't stay connected to the place because we don't trust what we hear. And sometimes the only thing that God will do, what God will do before he brings you a word, what God will do before he brings you out of a situation, that he'll bring you a word for the situation that you're in, to let you know that you're going to come out of it. You should know that sometimes what God will do is that he'll send a word so that that word can help you understand that God is up to something greater. God is about to do something greater in your life. And so sometimes he'll just send a word, but you've got to be willing to trust what you've heard, to remain in the place, to remain in your place of faith and encouragement. And so here we are. God is moving on their behalf. Moses has just left Pharaoh angry because he says, listen, you're not listening. God has already declared that we're going to live through it. Yet you still have the audacity to try to hold our people after God has sent several plagues to get your attention. Look around, Pharaoh. So much is happening. So much is going wrong to the people you're connected to, because God is ready for his people to disconnect from this environment. And so he says he left him angry in verse number 9. And the Lord said unto Moses, Pharaoh shall not hearken unto you. He shall not hearken unto you. Moses is probably looking at God and says, really? I've tried this over and over again. I know he's not going to listen. I know he's not paying attention. And God confirms it and says, listen, he is not going to listen. He is not going to listen. He's not going to listen. I need you to note this. He's not going to listen. Well, why isn't he going to listen? The Bible says he's not going to listen, that my wonders may be multiplied in the land of Egypt. And God says the reason that he's fighting so hard is because I designed it that way, because that's how I am going to bless my people. And as hard as he's fighting, the more blessings that's involved for your breakthrough in your life. And can I suggest to you tonight that some of you ought to be encouraged through this, because you had some tough days, tough moments, tough years, and God is saying it's fine, because I want you to be able to measure the goodness of my blessings based upon how rough it's been in your life. I am going to do more for you. My wonders are going to be multiplied for you, because I've seen your struggle. I've seen what you've been through. But the good news is you're going to live through it. But not only are you going to live through it, but it is going to be a multiplied breakthrough in your life. Tap that on the screen, that God is about to multiply my breakthroughs. That suggests that God is not only going to bring me out, but he's going to bring me out to bring me to, and he's going to continue to bring me to the place of promise and the place that he wants me to be. And so that's what God is doing in this season. I know it's rough. I know the pandemic is frustrating, but guess what? The good news is that God is positioning us to bring us out and to. That's good news. He's bringing us out and he's bringing us to. Because anytime God has a plan, he always positions you right in that plan for success. Type that. He always positions you right in that plan for success. And he wants to bring glory to you. He wants to bring glory to him, but God is going to utilize you for the purpose of bringing glory to him. Yeah, he's going to utilize you for the purpose of bringing glory to him. It is the desire of God to place you in a winning position. And sometimes it is the desire of God to place you in a winning position. Here is our frustration sometimes. Here it is that we don't feel like we're winning, because we measure winning by what looks good and what feels good. And so sometimes you don't feel like you're winning, but God always uses a process for your success. But he's always going to position you in the place of victory. You just have to be willing to receive and to remain. Yeah, you got to be willing to receive and remain, because he's going to is because Moses has declared, God has declared to Moses that his people are going to live. That's important. But what's also important, the people who are going to hear Moses, are they going to be willing to receive what Moses has? That's a big question. Are they going to be willing to receive what Moses has? Here is what's most important too. What Moses has received from God to give to the people. Will Moses and Aaron believe what they've got to communicate? Yeah, will Moses and Aaron believe what they have to communicate? You've got to remember they are a part of being held hostage as well. They are in the place where they're trying to communicate what God has said. And do they believe it? And I want to suggest to you, I want to park here for a minute. I want to suggest to you that you better get some people in your life that when they tell you something, they tell you because they believe it. I'll say it again. You got to get some people in your life, especially people who are around you to encourage you, to uplift your spirit. You better get some people in your life that when they encourage you, they believe what they're saying to you. Because there is nothing like having people who have conviction about what they are sharing. And when God speaks to Moses and Aaron, they got to have the same conviction in order to convey the message of hope and prosperity and of breakthrough. You have to have people in your life that if they're going to encourage you, if they're going to lift your spirit, that they've got a personal conviction about what they're sharing. And they can be right in the midst of it too, but they did not lose what they received because they trust the person who gave it to them, and that's important. You got to trust the message and the messenger. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Who are you receiving from? Is that significant? It's significant to your spiritual growth. Who you are receiving from is significant to your spiritual growth. It's significant because what are they saying to you? Is it maturing you? Is it taking you to a place of encouragement, of trusting God more? Do you trust Him more now as a result of what they've shared? Or do you have people in your life who pull you away from spiritual progression because they're not spiritual themselves? Because you got to be careful that your spirit is not stagnated because of who you are connected or who you are receiving from. That's why I want to encourage you, receive from yourself. Don't talk to yourself because you can only tell yourself what you already know. Don't do that. Don't talk to yourself. You've got to be at a place in your life that you're willing to receive. Yeah, type that on the screen, that I'm at a place in my life and I'm willing to receive. I'm willing to receive because it is important in where I remain. If I remain on the path of spiritual progression, I have to receive from people who are spiritual. If not, it impacts my spiritual growth. Are you willing to receive? Are you willing to receive? Why is it important, Pastor Johnson? Am I willing to receive? Because what you receive, watch this, what you receive is attached to your deliverance. That's why it's important. You remember the objective here is to bring Israel out of Egypt, to deliver them out of a place. If you're going to be delivered out of a place, you gotta embrace that which you have received. In this case, the only thing that Israel has is the word of Moses, who said it came from God. Do you trust it, though? Because that's what's going to matter. Do you trust it? Because some of us can sometimes get in that place, and I've been there, where you don't trust nobody. Oh, God, don't you dare judge me tonight. Some of us get to a place situation of your life, God will demonstrate that he's in control. He'll demonstrate that he's in control so that you can trust him. He'll demonstrate that he's in control. Why do you think he's sending these plagues? So Israel, listen, a lot of times, listen, and I know Pharaoh was hard-headed, but sometimes God will demonstrate he's in control. Not only for the thing that needs to let you go, but so also that you'll trust him. Because while he's sending these plagues, not only does Pharaoh see them, but Israel sees them too. And so sometimes what God will do is that he'll demonstrate his control. He'll demonstrate that he's in control. Why? So that you can experience his power. I like that. That's a good note. God will demonstrate he's in control. Why? So that you can experience his power. That's good. God will demonstrate he's in control so that you can experience his power. And what are we going to experience? How God brought us through it by his hand, and we were able to live through it. Yeah, type it on the screen. I'm living through it. I am living through it. So he'll demonstrate his control. But not only will he demonstrate his control, not only will he put you in position for success. Watch what God will do. Once he demonstrates his power so that you can be successful, once God demonstrates he's in control so that you can experience his power, once he positions you for success, here's your responsibility. You want to know it? Here's your responsibility. Here is your responsibility. You want to know it? Your responsibility is proper execution from your position. Oh God, that's your responsibility, is proper execution from your position. Watch here in the text, I can lift it for you. It's Bible right here in verse number 10. Watch Moses and Aaron and what they did. Verse number 10. And Moses and Aaron did all the wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord still hardened Pharaoh's heart. In other words, they executed properly from their position so that God's power can work through what they executed. Yeah, too many of us want God's power, but we don't want God's power, but we don't want to execute from our position. You got to do what God told you to do from your position if you want to experience God's power. And Moses and Aaron did all of these wonders before Pharaoh, and the Lord still hardened his heart, so he wouldn't let them out the land. But guess what? They can't control Pharaoh, but they can control their execution from their position. They can't control them. They can't control Pharaoh. Stop trying to control the stuff that God is in control of. Oh, I'll say it again. Stop trying to control the stuff that God is in control of. That's why we get in trouble. You can't control a person's heart. God has to deal with that. You can't control how they want to think and how they feel. God has to do that. Only thing you have to do is execute properly from your position. And that's what God is calling us. That's why we're going to live through it. Because he's going to put us in a winning position. He's going to demonstrate his control so we can experience his power. And then what God is going to do is put us in position so we can have proper execution. Are you executing properly from the position that God has placed you in? Your position in life right now. During the midst of this pandemic, are you still praying? That's proper execution. Are you still trusting in him? That's proper execution. Are you still obeying him? That's proper execution. Can he trust you with what he gives you? That's proper execution. And when you have proper execution, my friend, the good news about it is that you'll live through it. Because God is calling us to that place where we must have proper execution from the position that he's placed us in. We're in the midst of a pandemic, but we still got to have proper execution. Why? Because we understand that God is yet in control. And I want to live through it. And when you live through it, that is God experiencing, that is you experiencing the power of God in your life, my friend. Because he's going to always put you in a winning position. And sometimes, here it is, sometimes you got to be willing to receive in order to remain at the place where God has positioned you so that you can come out of it. Who are you receiving from? And then where are you remaining? I'm done until next week, until we get back into this. I am going to live through it. Listen, rush on over to Sister Sullivan's page. Thank you for hanging out with us for these few moments that we want to share with you on each Wednesday night. Again, like it, share it, encourage somebody to join us next week at the same time, same place. I love you so much, Mount Calvary. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday morning. God bless each of you and continue to receive so that you can remain in a place of growth. God bless you until next time.